Today we need to get into photos of Jung Kook and Jimin at the camp using weapons and what controversy that has gotten into. We also need to get into an alleged Sasaeng saying that Jung Kook had a girlfriend visiting. And then we have a Sasaeng saying that she will hurt Jung Kook. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave. Decide hate it or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumplings, hey splitting mug merch, and let's go. We need to talk about this Sasaeng saying that they actually want to murder Jung Kook and what that is about. This is absolutely crazy, and I think it's even more crazy how this is discovered. If you are unaware, we need to talk about what is going on in the world of Sasaengs and crazy stuff lately. There's been a rise in accounts lately claiming to be Sasaengs, and what they do to make themselves go viral is that they pretend to have associations with former Sasaeng events, and then they fill out the story themselves with very little to no evidence. But since the fandom is extremely overprotective and scared of these situations coming true, they will spread the account. And I get that, rather be safe than sorry. But not only does it incentivize these accounts that have gone viral to keep going, but it incentivizes other accounts to give it a try as well. One person was claiming that they were able to get Jung Kook's address, and they were the one that ultimately had sent food to Jung Kook's door, claiming that the reason that the food was sent was because their mother had died and that mother loved Jung Kook, so the daughter wanted to send Jung Kook her mother's favorite food, which explained to me how that makes any sense. Someone's mother dying then becomes Jung Kook's problem, and he doesn't know her. It makes much more sense to try to meet Jung Kook, not threaten his life if your mother loved him so much. This became another issue as the alleged fan, who was pretending to be mad that Jung Kook ultimately had rejected the food, claimed that she wanted to kill Jung Kook now that he had rejected it, which makes no sense either. So now on your mother's behalf, kill the person who she loved? These stories irk me because it's clear that there's people in the fandom that live in some sort of delusion that is very scary because it's almost next level. I remember when I first started doing the K-pop stuff, I was getting quite a few DMs from people that knew for a fact that Jung Kook was their son. And mind you, these people were like not even the same race. Jung Kook knows who his family is, but these people were going as far as not only believing this, but now attempting to get the government involved so they can reunite with their quote-unquote son. And these interactions were things I've never talked about, but it further proves a very scary thing about parts of the fandom where these people live in a reality that is not even true. However, going back to the post of this Sasaeng wanting to kill Jung Kook now, I do believe these things are fake, and I believe people shouldn't give others the time of day when they read this, because if it were that easy to even get into an apartment building to meet Jung Kook at his apartment door, then why hasn't that happened? The furthest we have seen is someone rushing into someone like Taeyang's building elevator, and even then it was probably that she just rushed into the elevator, handed the marriage papers over, and then ran out. If she stayed in the building, she would have gotten arrested for trespassing and a different reason than what she was likely charged for. And I also say that stalkers after the military will need to be careful of BTS, because we are seeing exactly what BTS and the members are up to lately at the camp, and we do not want to mess with them. There's been some recent photos that have come out where we are seeing Jung Kook and Jimin learning how to shoot and just overall practicing how to use the weapons properly. We see two photos, one photo where we see the practicing, and then the other photo we see Jimin and Jung Kook standing with their crew and just staring into the camera with the gun. These photos were probably most shocking to the fandom, as people were not expecting their quote-unquote cute bunny or cute person to be holding any sort of weapons. This sort of puts the boys in a different light, and I think people are now realizing that the boys are not this super delicate beings, that they are strong and can literally fight for themselves. People were also on the flip side scared that since their little innocent chick or bunny were holding guns, that they were going to hurt themselves. In fact, this was the biggest concern of the boys since even before they enlisted, as people were scared they were either going to get shot, get hurt, or hurt themselves in the military, all of which are very unlikely. In most normal military training, they are not going to be training against people shooting at them. I think in more higher military things, maybe, but not in the regular military. Like if you train to be an FBI or even Navy, maybe they go through that training where they have to dodge bullets. I don't know. However, this is not a risk that anyone needs to be concerned about for any of the BTS members. The photos, of course, went viral because, as I said, they were very shocking to everyone. And while that was one of the reasons it went viral, one of the last reasons was that people were just glad to see Jungkook and Jimin's eyes. I think the boys have opted to cover their face as they are either trying not to show too much of themselves as they don't have makeup on, or they're covering themselves from things like dust or whatever is on the battlefield. Of course, given that Jungkook's allergic reaction to dust, this makes sense when in every photo we see of him thus far, we are seeing an entirely full face covered. Either way, most people were just very proud of everyone, regardless of how scared people were about the boys enlisting. Believes that Jungkook and Jimin likely exceeded everyone's expectations and have done very well in whatever training they were doing. This is likely true as we can see how fast each member advances to a higher title after just being in the military for a few weeks. I mean, that is not normal, and the reason they're able to do this is because their normal celebrity schedule was way more grueling than whatever they are facing in the military. I can almost guarantee that. People like to say a celebrity's job is easy, but every celebrity says it's hard. So are they all lying? There's also been more situations with sasaengs and people photoshopping moments from Jungkook's live stream to say that before he enlisted, there were moments where he was seen with a girlfriend. I don't see any particular reason for doing this other than the fact that they want attention. And I'm not talking about photos that were edited for the sake of fanfic or things that are obviously not real. I'm talking about someone claiming that they have all this sensitive Jungkook information, but when it comes down to posting any information, it's suddenly all photos that are photoshopped, with these people saying that Jungkook is actually engaged and many other things. Some were even saying that Jungkook is still seeing this girl while he is in the military, to even claiming how Jungkook is dating her. There was a post where people were saying that Jungkook likely has time to date and he dates in between promotions, claiming that idols have a lot of time in between promotions to go date and meet people. This does happen, but it's actually not as common as you think, because K-pop idols specifically don't get much time off. They only get like a week before the company usually tries to get them back at it again as to not lose momentum. BTS for almost 10 years has only ever really taken one long break, and it was only a few months. In that time they could date, but the likelihood of that is low, as wouldn't they spend the time trying to catch up with friends and family, the same friends and family members that they have likely not seen in years? Imagine if they hear that their son or friend had time off but chose to date instead of seeing them. As for an idol, there can't be things like meeting on an app or anything like that, so the idols they're dating have to be other celebrities or things like that. However, they have to be really careful about going and getting their information, because if they ask people on their team to hand over phone numbers or whatever, who's to say that that won't leak? And then who is to say that the person that, let's say, Jungkook would ask for a phone number from would even be interested in dating Jungkook? It's very complicated and it takes a long time because everything needs to be done secretly. And again, as I've said, the members have never really had that much time off to regain back rest, catch up with friends and family, and then think about how they go about dating. And then now they're actually enlisted. They really don't have time to think about dating, because how does that even work? If any of them want to date a woman, there's likely not that many in the military, but actually in the photos I don't see any women, although they would have their hair short and face covered anyway, so maybe I just can't tell. But when I see the post, it appears like BS to me, and I wish people wouldn't share these moments. I'm aware that by speaking on this, that it is spreading this more. However, I think it's more important to talk about the idea of reframing people's mindset and thought process when they see these things online, because ignoring these specific moments doesn't solve the problem. The problem is that people are believing these things, but as it gets more talked about, people will stop, and then these moments will be less interesting and it won't go viral anymore, which ultimately means those fabricating stories will stop. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check on Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks for this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.